They're loaded with talent, that's for sure. I got a chance to be in one of the hitters meetings earlier today with Xavi, who I've known for a while, and just looking around that room, it's like all-star, 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 soon-to-be all-star, just around the room, and it's pretty wild. And they asked me to say something at the end, and it was just like, I wish I could be in this lineup because they're gonna score some runs, and they got some guys that can grind out at bats. They got some guys, obviously, that can hit homers. So, I'd be surprised if they're not, one of the top offensive teams in the league. We didn't, it's the difference. We had that type of offense, but these guys, we had good pitching. They have great pitching. But offensively, yeah, that's what we were kind of talking about in the hitters meeting a little bit today. Was that mindset of what makes a great offense, not necessarily the individuals in it, and it's in a lot of ways it's an individual game. When you get up there, it's you versus the pitcher, but the mindset of a philosophical feeling of how you're going to go out there and wear down the opposing pitcher, and that's what we really had in '06 and some of those really good offenses, and it feels like that's what they're trying to work towards here. Is not necessarily sitting back and playing for a 3-run homer. It's going to come, but grinding out at bats, getting on base, trying to steal some bases. I think that this is a more athletic lineup than we've probably had in the last couple of years, and they're going to be able to put some pressure on the defense and score runs other than hitting home runs, which is obviously ideal. That's what our motto was. Like in '06, I remember Carlos Delgado and Carlos Beltran and these guys saying, like, from the first batter on, you want to apply that type of pressure to the opposing pitcher to where you don't let them up. It's put the pressure on them, and it's not necessarily, again, hitting the ball hard or hitting home runs. Hopefully that comes, but it's not giving away at bats. It's not going up there and swinging early at a pitcher's pitch and grounding out to the shortstop, or ending a rally by chasing a pitch out of the zone, hitting into a double play. It's constantly putting pressure on the pitcher to where the pressure is flipped, where they're feeling it, not necessarily offensively you're feeling it. And I think those were the best offenses that I played in, were the ones that we never felt like we were in trouble. It was always the pitcher that was in trouble. And I think that's the kind of mindset that Xavi's trying to bring here. Now, that's one of the things that I'm very thankful for, looking back on it, that I never had to experience the transition of coming from maybe a smaller market team to New York with all the pressure, especially signing a big deal, that brings. And I got a chance to see it firsthand with Carlos Beltran, where fortunately, Carlos and I got along well from the beginning, where I started, training with him in spring training a little bit, and he kind of took me under his wing, and we worked out together. We, did, our weightlifting together, went to the cage together, and yeah, it's a real thing when, you come and you have the expectation of you're going to be the savior of this organization, and you get off to a slow start, then you start pressing. I mean, I think that's a real thing, so I'm expecting a big bounce back year, just like Carlos did. I mean, Carlos put together, some of the most monstrous offensive seasons in Mets history. And I look for, something similar, with Lindor, now that he knows kind of what the expectations are. And a lot of it were probably expectations that he put on himself. As athletes, you always want to live up to the hype, or you always want to live up to the contract. And sometimes it's just not possible. You go out there, you play your game, you play the way that the reason you were rewarded with that contract, and it goes out and takes care of itself. So I'm expecting a big bounce back here. I don't think so. I don't consider myself old.
Murphy's gone.
Well, Murphy's like, I know my body's like an old man, but he's really like an old man. He's like, he moves like an old man. He talks like an old man. So Old Timers Day is perfect for Murph.